So one thing I would be curious is like from all these different expeditions you've done, and I know we could be here for hours talking about like really in depth, but I'd be curious like from doing all of those, has there been like a silver lining like lesson or takeaway or something that is just like a constant reminder to you from doing all of those? Like what's one of the biggest lessons you've taken from all of those?
Yeah, gosh, I think there's so many, but if I had to pick one, it would be that big 1,800-mile expedition, finishing that. So it was February 2014. I should work out. I don't know, it was 36 or something. And this was the culmination of not only 108 days of really, really hard work with an incredible teammate. So two of us on that expedition. We'd achieved something a lot of experts thought was impossible. I still hold the world record for the longest ever polar journey on foot. It's in our downstairs bathroom. That's the only place my wife lets me keep polar stuff. So it's on the wall there. So
casual, the 5 people before you that did that, they died.
Yeah. Five people died trying, but that was like nearly a century ago. So this is one of the last big unfinished journeys in the polar regions, and it kind of not. It's not an exaggeration to say like 4-minute mile kind of territory. We genuinely raised the bar, and this was not just 3.5 months of really hard work dragging the sledge, but more than a decade of work, like building up to this project, like 10 expeditions, each one was a stepping stone again. By that stage, I had a team, I had 12 people working for me. I mentioned the budget, like that expedition alone, about $2.5 million that I had to raise from scratch. Had to fund sponsorship, those sums of money. You need lawyers, so this huge. I'd inadvertently become the CEO of this crazy business with 12 people in an office in London, but I was also the product. I was the thing that we were delivering, for our partners. So a crazy period. But anyway, the very last day of that, you can imagine absolutely exhausted, like getting back to the coast. We went from the coast to the South Pole, back to the coast again. So getting back to the coast, and there was a definite finish line because you literally you finish on an island, confusingly, but it's all sea ice. So you step from the ice onto the land again, and that's the finish line. So there's this definite finish line. And I remember making sure my teammate Tark and I were like together. We took our skis off and that we'd step over at like exactly the same time, finish the exact. And I remember for years imagining that was going to be the most emotional moment of my entire life. Achieving the biggest goal I ever set myself. I put my foot on the land. Nothing happened. There was no like immediate feeling of elation or triumph or there was maybe this kind of vague relief that we didn't have to drag a sledge any further. We were safe, finished, done. But there was no like party time kind of celebration. And then rather than my life becoming more awesome, it actually got a lot less awesome for months and months after that moment. And for 2 reasons. I mean, firstly, I was exhausted, like mentally, physically, emotionally, absolutely burnt out, completely shattered. Like it took physically, I worked with an amazing doctor kind of recovering from that trip physically. And it took 9 months to be healthy again. We'd properly screwed. I lost just over 50 pounds in 3.5 months. And we're eating 6,000 calories a day. It's this incredible stress on, physiologically. But beyond that, beyond the exhaustion, the goal, this dream that had been giving me all of this energy, all of this determination, all of this drive and work ethic and, ambition. As soon as we achieved it, it vanished. And there was nothing there to replace it because the goal was so big that it took all of my bandwidth, all my time, all my energy. So it was, weird few months after that trip. And eventually I started to realize that I'd perhaps made a mistake in that in viewing success as a finish line in the future, as this kind of threshold where if things aren't great now, but when I get there, they're going to be awesome. And if I could only work hard enough and achieve enough of something or accumulate enough of something else, one day I'll get there, and then things will be great. And then I got there. It was literally this finish line. This is it. You have achieved the biggest thing you've ever dared to achieve. Everyone said It's impossible. You're never going to do it. All this money, all this effort. No one's ever gone that far. You're going to die. Everything else. And we did it.
Yeah.
And it was kind of disappointing. This probably sounds like the most demotivational thing I could be telling anyone. Like, you know, I aimed as high as I could in my field, and that's a pretty difficult field. Worked my butt off. Brilliant team, amazing sponsors. Did it, and it was kind of disappointing. Where am I going with this? I think the biggest lesson was, before that journey, before that achievement, if you'd asked me to define success, I would have said achieving your goal, obviously. Ask me now to define success. To me, it looks more like continuing to strive well. Like success is not a destination. It's not a finish line. And I think also for businesses, like you're not trying to get to a point where everything stops. Like that's not the point. You're trying to keep going, trying to keep something that will, try to create something that will outlive you, outlast you as a founder. So that was a big lesson. Success is not a finish line. It's the journey.
Right. Because it's like, and I've had, I want to say a similar experience, but I did not do anything nearly as difficult as that. But it's similar in the sense of like, when I get there, I'm going to be this. And one of the most beautiful lessons I got throughout that process was like, when you get there, and we talk about this on the podcast, these amounts like, well, who's the person that decides that you're going to feel that way when you get to that moment?
Absolutely.
And it's you. So it's like,
absolutely,
why not decide to have that feeling now and achieve the thing you want, so that you're not getting there to achieve it, to achieve that. It's like, you're not achieving to be happy, you're happily achieving.